I think one of my sort of learnings from the renovations that I've done in my, prior life, I don't claim to do a lot of renovations in my property journey, is that playing in the owner-occupier market. And typically, if you renovate it too quick and bring it out to the market, one of the lessons that I learned was that people think that it's a shonky renovations, right? Because it's an owner-occupier. It's very paranoid owner-occupier who think that, oh, this property was sold for $400,000 8 weeks ago or 3 months ago, and they're bringing this now this quick. That means that they have just, done a lick of paint and brought this property out and asking for an extra $200,000 for the sake of it.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, 100%. I mean, it really depends on the market that you're playing in, 100%. And an owner-occupier market, their wish list is going to be different, and the more expensive the property, the higher the higher end that you're playing in. Obviously, you're going to have a smaller pool of buyers, and if you don't nail it, you're going to come off not all that great. I suppose if you're working in that higher end of the market, you'd want to be working with the real estate agents who's going to be selling the property for you, making sure that you're able to deliver the right product that the market wants. So that's why, the people that I sort of coach and stuff as well now, I sort of recommend that they sort of start at the lower end because, there's more room there's bigger pool of buyers, more room for error as well. And it just makes a lot more sense to.
And so if you take a step back, what are the three key lessons that Graham has learned over his, all of these lifetime in real estate? Renovations, no renovation.
So what was that? So three key
lessons that you've learned, or the mistakes that you've made that has helped you become a Graham version 2.
Yeah, okay, good. That's a good question. I think the biggest one is data, looking at the data and knowing what the market's going to do. I mean, I started investing in Perth as a probably 25-year-old in 2009. I think that's about right. And the market in Perth went, everyone knows how badly the Perth market tracked from the GFC through to 2020. Our median house price was about the same. So if I had done the same investing that I did in Perth back then in, say, Sydney or Melbourne, it would have been much different. So I suppose I've learned a lot about property analysts. Someone I sort of follow quite closely is John Lindemann. I have a lot to do with him. And and just looking at that sort of data to make sure that you're buying in the right areas, that that you're timing the market right and that sort of stuff. Because if you're buying at the wrong time, then you're not gonna make profits in investing.
What about feasibilities? What about crunching the numbers and knowing your numbers up front?
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the whole renovation space and flipping, feasibility is everything. So you need to be able to know all your numbers. You need to be able to know, you need to be an expert, like almost an area expert. You need to know exactly what the end sale is going to be, because that's how you're going to come off on the badly, is if you're overestimating what the end price is going to be. So really important to know that what it's going to sell for, and the only way you're going to do that is by having relationships with local agents, by getting into the knowing the area well, walking the streets, attending the home opens, all that sort of stuff. So crunching the numbers is really important. But the longer that you sort of do renos and feasibility and all that sort of stuff, like I'm at the stage now in my market, I don't even really have to do a feasibility, like as far as what the reno cost is going to be. I know what it's going to cost when I look at it, but that comes with the experience. So yeah. So, and then the third thing would be with flipping is just knowing who the buyer is, which I sort of touched on before. But, if you're gonna flip houses, you have to know who the buyer is. Otherwise, you're not renovating it to what the market wants.
And has there ever been a time where you bought a renovation, you had an estimation in place, or you thought you knew that this is what it's going to cost in renovations, and then next thing you know, it's $50,000 more or $80,000 more than what you originally thought?
Yeah, so I actually had a project last year, and it was, I was forecasting a pretty decent profit, sort of 150 plus, and it was when the interest rates started really going, and I sort of settled on it just as the interest rate started taking off, and then by the time I finished renovating it, a few months later, the whole owner-occupier market had changed in that Fremantle area. And look, when I went to sell it, it was on the market for about 3 months, and I just couldn't sell it. And I almost took it off the market and almost rented it out. I was contemplating, having that one as an Airbnb for a bit until the market changed. But I ended up getting a valuation done as well, independent valuation, just to see, because I did my numbers. I was like, surely I can't be wrong here. And the valuation ended up coming in at like 1.3. So I was like, well, it's not much lower than what I expected, but I ended up taking 1.2 on that project just to be done with it, which meant I'd come out pretty much, without any sort of hurt, I suppose, or not. I think I might have lost 5 or 10 grand on that project or something like that. So that was a massive learning for me, because, and I'll tell you the reason why it was a massive learning is I've just hyped on about knowing your market and being an area expert. And there was a couple of things in that project that I got wrong. Okay, so that it was an area that had a lot of heritage properties and that sort of stuff. And this particular property wasn't a sort of a character home. So I was sort of, when I did my numbers and my feasibilities, and even though I was speaking to agents and all that sort of stuff, I was really comparing it to other properties that were really, because there was nothing really like it. So I was comparing it to other sort of 3x1s, 3x2s that were more character homes. And it's just not what the market wanted.